Hey guys, welcome to Self Made. It's your boy Andres.
The one and only Nash.
And unfortunately, Akeem couldn't be with us today, dealing with the wifey. I think he mentioned that he was planning the wedding, right, Nash?
Yes, yes, he did.
Alright, so for today's topic, we'll be talking about how would you bring up sex to your kids and what is an appropriate age to lose your virginity? Do you want to start or you want me to start?
I'll start with the first one, like having a conversation about the activities with your child. I would say that it's a very difficult topic to discuss in that sense because number one, it's a very uncomfortable conversation to have with them as well. Number two, it's to the point where I don't know if they would feel comfortable talking to you about it, even though that you know you're their parent. They'd probably most likely want to talk to them, like talk to someone like that's younger or closer to like the same age or like a couple years older than them, because they feel more comfortable about it. But in a sense, if you are having this conversation with your child, I would say that you could have a general conversation about it, but just let them know that if they do have questions or anything like that, that they can come to you. And if or something happens, like same thing, they can come talk to you, or if they don't feel like talking to you, they can talk to someone else about it. Give them like guidance on who they can see, who they can talk to if they don't feel comfortable talking to you about it, and just remind them about like protection and the hazards of what it is when it comes to having sex.
So I feel like we live in a new, like in the new world, like a new society where everything gets brought up to kids at a
A
young
lot
age,
earlier.
whether that's from school or from social media, which is why I feel like you should refrain from having your kids on social media at a young age. But that's a topic for a different day. In terms of like
But
sex, I
at the
feel like
same time, like I hear what you're saying, but you can't keep social media away from a child because media is
no, but
everywhere.
you can limit it though.
Yeah, you can limit it, but I'm saying like once they step out the door, you don't know what they're gonna be looking at, right?
No,
Like when
that's
they go to
true. But
school
in terms of
or like
like
with the
phones and
outward
stuff
frame.
like that.
Yeah, no, but like if they don't have a phone, right? Their friends will have a phone and then they'll see it, they'll interact with social media in that way or at a library, anywhere that has accessible internet access.
I mean,
But
at the
that's
end
a
of the
topic,
day,
as you said, that's a topic for a different day.
at the end of the day, every kid, every teen will find a way to do whatever they want to do, whether that's like you said, looking at social media or alcohol or smoking. A kid is always gonna find a way. So the more you try to keep them away from something, the more they'll try to get to that something. I just meant like limit time on apps and monitor what it is that they're doing. But yeah, no, what you said is completely right. In terms of sex, though, I feel like personally, I would bring it up to them before school does, just because I don't want them be taking like be like, oh, like this is like a surprise, like I never heard about this, like you know what I mean. Like I want to beat the school and be like, all right, well, let's have a conversation so you're prepared for what it is that they're gonna teach you in school, right? Like give them more like a heads up, like oh, like this year you might be learning about this and that. Obviously, let them know that if they do encounter any questions, just come and talk to you or your partner. Obviously,
Yeah, but
some kids
but
may.
in some school systems, depending on how it is that they teach you, they start you off learning it from like grade one.
Yeah, but I feel like you can
Like
always like
that's
talk
too
to your
young.
kid though.
But how
No,
would
I
you
agree.
explain it though?
Well, you will be like at the start of the year, you can tell your kid like, hey, like this is gonna be a new year where you'll be learning new stuff, and this is where they might like do like an introduction of this and that. Obviously, at the end of the day, a kid like is always gonna have more attachment to the mom or the dad. I feel like once you have that communicate, like once you have the conversation as a couple to your kid, you're they'll be like, okay, well, like when they do learning in school, obviously they're gonna have questions, and at least me personally, I would rather have my kid ask me or my wife questions than the teacher, just because I know what I'm gonna say and I know what I was gonna say. I don't know what she's gonna say. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we have, like, I'm not gonna, bash teachers. Obviously, there's some really really great ones that always make a
Hmm.
difference, but there's some fucked up teachers, bro. So like, I don't want to get to that point that it's like, oh, like I don't know what my kid is learning. Like, you know what I mean? That's why it's always good to go through what it is that they learn, and obviously clarify a few things that they might have questions in regards to what is sex, or like when to have sex, or who to have sex with, like stuff like that. Because obviously, like you said at the beginning, once they step out that door, you don't know what goes on in their world.
Unless you
So that's
ask.
why,
And even when
exactly.
you
But that's
ask, it's like, are they really going to tell you? Or are they
Well,
just
that's
like,
why
yeah.
that really depends on your relationship with your kid, though.
Hmm.
I'm fortunate enough that growing up, I had that environment where I can talk to my parents about anything and everything, because they were like, it's not like it's not like they treat you like a friend, but they treat you like an equal. So like, they can relate to stuff that you're going through. So like, they're not gonna bash you for like saying different, like, certain things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have my kids sit around and be scared to talk to them about certain things because they'll feel like I'm gonna get them in trouble. None of that. I want to make sure that they feel safe, because yes, although we do have professionals and people that can help, I don't want like stuff to get to that point. I want to be the person they talk to, or my wife, because like I said before, we don't know what they're gonna say. I know what we're gonna say, and if there is somebody that I want them to learn it from, is us, nobody else. Now, in terms of like appropriate age, this is a really tough one, because it's one of those things that when you know, and I don't want people to feel like they're like, pressuring to rushing things because their friends lost it when they're like, whatever, 15, 16, 17, and they just feel like, okay, well, my friends have all lost it, now that means I should do it too. I don't think that's the case. I feel like you should just lose it when you feel ready. In terms of an appropriate age, if you were to ask me a number, I say between like, like 18, 19, 20. That's a good age, because that's when you really understand certain things, right? That's what I would say. If you were to ask me like an actual age, that's what I like. That's the age that I would say.
I agree with you on that as well. But at the same time, depending on how you feel as when you're growing up, like as a teen, like it's not necessarily that you rush it, but it's an experience that you wanna, like, you just wanna get off, like, your chest. Not necessarily your chest, but, off your mind, I should say. Um, because, like, social media is a big impact on, like, everything that you do in your day-to-day life. And when it comes to that and, like, losing it, you hear and you see, like, your friends talking about it, talking about, oh, like, I kissed this girl, we're dating, this and stuff like that. Like, you are longing for a connection. Like, as you grow up, you start to see that you want a connection with a person, you want to build something with someone. But at the same time, having that connection can also stem from you just going out with the person and not doing anything, or taking that next step. So some people take that next step, but at the same time, they don't have any feelings behind it, where they're like, wasn't I supposed to feel something? Like, it feels like it's good, but at the same time, it's not what they really desired at that point in time, to like say, yeah, like, this is what I wanted, just because like my friends are like hyping it up and saying like it's the best thing, and it's, you should do it now versus doing it later, because people regret it at a young age. A lot of people say, hey, like, I wish I didn't do it when I was this age and I had waited, but there's a lot of peer pressure from this to, well, today's society and from your peers.
Yeah,
And
but I feel like
sometimes
that's where you
even,
fall in as a parent, though.
yeah, but I even feel like sometimes even the parents rush you too at the
Well, see,
same
that
time.
really depends on the parenting style. Like, obviously, we can't speak for like all parents out there.
Yeah, I'm not. It's
And
just
neither of us
certain
are parents, anyways. Yeah.
it depends on, like, it's also like culture and like how they, if you're sticking to culture, then you continue with that. But sometimes you don't have to just follow everything. You can just kind of just, you know have some awareness of what you want to do. At the end of the day, it's up to you. It's not to what anyone else says. It's kind of just what you want to do at the end of the day, and it's your decision. No matter what your friends or family want to say, at the end of the day, it's your decision, and that's it. But to agree with you, yes, I would say instead of 18, because 18 you're still in kind of high school, like you're just about to finish, depending on like when your birthday is. I would probably say like um 19, 20, 21. That's when you kind of
Yeah, I
know
feel like
like that's the peak of like adulthood, as well as you trying to like find yourself and like
yeah,
get
no,
to
I
know
agree.
who you are.
Yeah, no, I agree. At the end of the day, it also falls into the question of what is what is sex? You know what I mean? Like, what does that really mean?
What does that
Obviously,
mean to you?
exactly. So, like, I mean, we can talk about that with an episode with the Keem because I'm sure we all have different definitions, even now being the age that we are compared to where we first,
When
you
we first
know,
thought about it
this,
when we were
yeah,
younger.
when we first discovered it. So we can save that for another day. But just to quickly sum up and wrap up the episode, in terms of like for me at least, I feel like uh talk to your kids, make sure that they don't feel pressure, make sure that they feel safe talking to you. Obviously, like I mentioned before, I'm not a dad, neither is Naj. We're just saying what we would do in the future. Obviously, between now and then, things can obviously change.
Yeah.
But in
Um,
terms of like
to
other than
add
that,
to
yeah,
your to add to what you said before about like kids, it doesn't even have to be like your kids. It could be like you like little cousins that you have, siblings. It could be anyone that's younger than you that comes to you for advice that you could just talk to them about it if they do have questions.
yeah, no, I agree, I agree. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. And please make sure you guys share, like, subscribe, follow us on Spotify, on Instagram. We'll skip out on the questions today. We'll wait for Akim to come back. Hopefully, the next episode we can have just the three of us. But I mean, as long as we're still able to pop up the content, we'll get from there. Other than that, it's been your host Andres,
The one knowing Ash.
and we'll see you in the next episode.